The United Nations says there is, quote, clear and convincing evidence that chemical weapons were used in an attack that killed hundreds of Syrians, including many children, last month. This is the first official confirmation by scientific experts that the nerve agent sarin gas was used in Syria's civil war. But the UN doesn't specify who used them. A top French diplomat, however, said that the evidence, quote, leaves no doubt that the Syrian government was responsible. Ban Ki-moon, Secretary General of the United Nations, stressed the importance of the deal brokered by the U.S. and Russia over the weekend to secure those weapons and ultimately destroy them.
It is the most significant confirmed use of chemical weapons against civilians since Saddam Hussein used them in Halabja in 1988. The international community has a responsibility to ensure that chemical weapons never re-emerge as an instrument of warfare.
The international group that will oversee the destruction of Syria's chemical weapons stockpile says the work will begin within days. But if the past is any guide, that job could take years to complete. And as Scott Cohn reports, no country knows that better than the United States.
These giant canisters of the nerve agent VX were part of the deadliest chemical arsenal on Earth, much of it manufactured and stored at this depot in western Indiana. When we visited the site in 1997, we had to wear gas masks and carry an injection kit just in case. A single drop could kill an adult in a matter of minutes. That year, the U.S. had just agreed to destroy its entire stockpile.
We don't need it anymore. We don't want it anymore.
Today, the VX is gone, and the county is turning the site into an industrial park, including the bunkers where the VX was stored. But getting here has literally taken decades.
By the examples that we set today, we hope to contribute to an atmosphere of peace and understanding between all nations.
President Nixon was the first to renounce U.S. chemical weapons in 1969. 44 years and $40 billion later, the U.S. still hasn't destroyed all of its stockpile. 7 sites, including Indiana, are shut down, but 2 remain, containing 3,000 tons of mustard gas, sarin, and VX. The U.S. estimates it will take another 10 years to complete the job, 16 years after the original deadline. What took so long? The chemicals themselves are difficult to neutralize, and because they're dangerous to transport, special plants had to be built at each of the U.S. sites. In Syria, the agreement calls for destroying or removing the weapons in less than a year, and doing it in the middle of a civil war.
You're probably talking about 500 to 1,000 or so people that would be required to support that operation. And they've got to get to the right place.
At about 1,000 tons, the Syrian arsenal is much smaller than even what's left of the U.S. stash. But experts fear Syria still has the ingredients it needs to make more chemical weapons once its existing arsenal is gone. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Scott Cohn.